welcome to Call of the Wild Tutorials, and today we're out here on Hirschfelten and we're continuing our skill series, and today we're talking about the soft feet skill. So it can be found in the stalker tree, and when we look at the soft feet we can see there's two levels. Level 1 reduces the noise generated when moving through foliage such as grass and leaves. Level 2 reduces the noise generated when moving through larger vegetation such as bushes and shrubs. So as always, what we need to do here when we're testing these skills is we're going to set a baseline. So I'm just going to walk in a straight line. I found an area where there's kind of the leaves, foliage, and all of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to walk down to a set point, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to run back. And as we do so, we're going to be watching the sound bar in the HUD. And if you don't know where that's located, the sound bar is right here in the HUD. And normally it's usually white. The next level is kind of almost like the max warning that you're going to get. So instead of just watching the sound bar all the time, I'll lead you through it. But we can see that when we're going through here, we're at about a 1, sometimes a 2 as we're going through some of this heavier foliage here. But what the level 1 is going to do is that level 1 of the skill is it's supposed to reduce the noise as we're walking through leaves and grass. And so we can see here in some sections we don't have we're not in that second tier warning at all for the sound. So now we're going to turn around and we're going to run back and we're going to see the results to set our baseline. So as we're running back, we can see that we're kind of peeking out just a little bit sometimes. I have a feeling that when we go through this tree right here, that it's going to max right out, and it does. And so as we get to the end here, we're going to stop, and then we're going to just turn around and we'll put our first skill point in. So once again, that level 1 skill point, it's going to help us to reduce as we're walking through some of the foliage, some of the grass and the leaves. So we'll just keep an eye on that. So I know some of these tests can be a little bit boring, but I'm trying to spend the money so that you guys can make the best choices in what skills you actually want to use. So as we go through the rougher stuff here, we can see that there's no difference in our baseline, and we expected that because we're only at level 1. But it seems to be about the same, even when we're walking through the leaves here, that it really hasn't changed too much. Now, one of the things that we have to remember is that it could be that that the sound noise is reduced. We just might not be able to see it with the sound bar they have. It's not like there's a decibel level or something that's reading the actual decibels. So let's just turn around, let's run through again and see if that's reduced the noise. So once again, seeing maybe a little bit of a noise reduction. We know that going through the heavier shrubs, it's not going to reduce it at all, but maybe just a little bit less as we're going down, but not really noticeable as far as we can see on the sound bar. So maybe we'll notice a little bit of a bigger difference here when we turn around and we go up and add another skill point in. So remembering now that this next skill point is going to help with larger shrubs and bushes. And so we should see a difference there. So once again, we're just going to walk through. And before we were peaking out at around 2 while walking. So now as we go through this larger thing, we can see that we've just gone up to the 1. And even reduced noise a little bit as we're going through all of this foliage. So once again, tedious process. I know, I'm sorry, but I want you to make sure that you see that we've done an experiment that can kind of quantify what we're trying to do here to see whether or not these skills are viable for you or not. So now when we turn around, we can go and we can start running. And as we can see, the noise level is kind of steady now, only at that 1 bar. A couple bars there when we went through that bush. Now this one here, we always were maxing out here when we're running. And now we're only at 2 bars max. So it actually has reduced the noise a bit. So what can we conclude? Well, the soft feet skill is good to run because anything that's going to reduce the noise, and even though we might not see it on the soundbar itself, we know that it is, when we were running in the last test, it did reduce the noise for that. So I hope this video has helped you. I'd personally still put 2 skill points into this skill. From Hirschfelten, this is Call of the Wild Tutorials saying happy hunting.